Adobe has been in a lot of hot water lately, and there's a lot of creatives out there that are really upset with the company. Based on my comments section, there are a lot of people out there that are not happy with Adobe. And if you're one of them, leave your comment down below. How has your experience been using Adobe products? I'd love to hear from you. This is kind of a venting video, because in this video, I'm going to be going over some of the key catalysts and reasons why people are so upset. Let's first talk about Adobe's AI nightmare. So back in June of 2024, earlier this year, Adobe updated their terms and conditions. They basically lined out in their new terms and conditions that Adobe has access to your content through both automated and manual methods. And the big concern with this is that Adobe would be using customers' content to train their AI model. We've all heard of Adobe Firefly, their AI model that can generate images and graphics for your projects. And Adobe is just one of the companies that are in the AI space and trying to develop their AI as quickly and as efficiently as possible. But this comes with a big flaw because they are basically just saying, hey, we own your content and we're going to train our AI models based on your content. So Adobe had to come out and revise their terms and conditions a few weeks later, where they clearly state now that we don't scan or review content that is stored locally on your device. We also don't train generative AI models on your or your customer's content unless you've submitted the content to Adobe Stock Marketplace. So they basically had to do this because imagine if you're working with a client, you're working under an NDA, imagine having your content being sent to Adobe to train their AI models. There could be a lot of serious consequences with that. Now you'll notice the last line in there talks about Adobe Stock, and I don't personally use Adobe Stock, but recently it's been flooded with a lot of AI generated content. For example, this clip here, if we click on it, you can see it's just a car sitting on the road with other cars going around it. The license plate's all messed up. It's not really readable by any means. And there's a lot of this type of content on Adobe Stock. I don't know, I personally don't use Adobe Stock, but if you have experience with it, leave your comments down below. Now this isn't Adobe's only controversy. I started using Adobe products back in like 2008. I believe the first product I used was Adobe Creative Suite 3. CS3, the good old days, CS3. So I started using CS3 back when I was like in middle school, just learning how Premiere Pro, Photoshop work, using it for class assignments and really for home movie projects and different things. I didn't really think of Adobe that much as this, giant software company at the time. And back then, things were a lot simpler. You just open up the program. You didn't really have to worry about updates a lot. The tools worked, the software worked. And the biggest difference when it came to the Creative Suite versus the Creative Cloud is the Suite you could buy once and have it for life. You'd essentially buy it as a DVD, you can install it on your computer, and you're good. You can open the apps and get started right away in it. Where the Creative Cloud actually came out back in 2013. So I remember I was like in high school at this time, and they leaned more into a subscription model, which makes sense. On the surface looks better because the standalone product that you would purchase from Adobe would be a lot more expensive. It'd cost probably a few $1,000s to buy. And switching to the subscription model, it would be $50 a month. It would be a much more affordable option for their consumers. So I think their intentions were good, but here's the flaw. I started freelancing back in like 2015, 2016, and I switched to Adobe Creative Cloud. Now, as a freelancer, my work is hit and miss, and I kind of wanted to have a more casual relationship with my subscription with Creative Cloud. So, 1 month I signed up for it, and a few months later I wanted to cancel it because I didn't have that much work that month. Now, the thing I didn't realize is that, say if you go to cancel your subscription, you have to still pay 50% of the remaining balance when it comes to your yearly license. Because here's the thing I didn't realize is when you sign up to pay month to month, you're actually locked in for the entire year. So let's say if you buy Adobe Creative Cloud, I'm gonna pull up their pricing sheet. So right now it costs $60 a month to buy. Let's say if you purchase Adobe Creative Cloud, $60 a month, we times that by 12, you're essentially gonna pay $720 a year. Now let's say you use it for the first month, you pay your first $60, and let's say you wanna cancel it after your first month. You would have to pay a cancellation fee of $330 in order to cancel just after a month in. And this is such a big deal that the FTC, the United States government, is actually suing Adobe for this. The FTC is currently taking action against Adobe and the executives for hiding and preventing customers from easily canceling software subscriptions. So it's not good when the US government's suing you. Now, my honest thoughts on this, I think honestly, they should just get rid of this. I mean, I don't know what the big deal is. I think Adobe should know that a lot of their customers are freelancers or artists where they might make money some months, but some months they might not want to use the product. I don't know. I think an easy solution to this is just get rid of that. Now, what does this mean for Adobe moving forward? One of the other things you'll notice is that Adobe is kind of lagging when it comes to the features comparing their products to a lot of the other competitors out there. Take DaVinci Resolve, for example. There's a lot of things in Resolve that Premiere Pro doesn't have. And when it comes to graphic design, there's a lot of other apps out there that have come out within the last few years. They have a lot of nice features in them that make designing more efficient and effective for freelancers. But you know what they say, if you can't outcompete them, buy them. And what has Adobe been doing? They've been trying to buy their competition. If we go back a few years, they tried to buy Figma for $20 billion. It ended up not working out for them. Due to pressure from regulators, they called off the deal. So they couldn't really get it going. And there's been a lot of acquisitions from Adobe throughout the years, but it's just one of the ways they're trying to compete is actually by buying a lot of the other apps or companies out there. But I think what I see moving forward, at least, is a lot of the freelancers and the people that take and do this as a side hustle are probably going to lean more into those other apps rather than use Adobe products. And I think Adobe is probably more focused on the business owners or the people that do this full time for a living. For example, I use Adobe products in my business, but I video edit and use all the apps every single day, so it just makes sense for me. But you might be in a different situation, so leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on using Adobe products, and if you use other products, leave it down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you use out there. But I honestly think Adobe needs to really tread lightly because they upsetted a lot of people this year, and a lot of creatives are moving on. Are you? If you want to see some free alternatives to Adobe Creative Cloud, I did make a video going over some of them. I will leave that video right up there if you do want to check that out. But that does it for this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.